You have a collar and you have their sleeve. This angle here. So as always, I try to pull this out, collar and sleeve, because what I want is feet on hip, and I want one arm in. Okay. From here, I don't only want to be centered. Typically, kind of be here because you can push their foot out here. You have triangles from collar, sleeve. Okay. You shift this way. You have the ability to get lasso near side, lasso far side. You have the ability to get spider guard, but you wouldn't do it this way. You'd actually do it this way here. Scoot to your left. You'd be here. So I tilt to the left, put my right foot in the bicep, so I'm pushing that away. I can begin to catch triangles here, maybe take it to an arm lock. If I tilt to my right side, okay, typically he'll have to somehow plant that left hand, which enables me to have it in reach. In order for him to pull this hand out, oftentimes he'll have to brace himself here, because he can kind of post on this hand and really pull that right hand out, which gives me this, and then it gives me this. I have spider this way, where I can get a lasso, I can push him, or if he starts going this way here, I have spider this way, and you have a lot of options. So from collar and sleeve, I pull him, and I want to be more on my kind of left hip, because I need to push him to my left as my hips scoot out to the right. My objective is to have one arm in between my knees, and it should be the arm that I'm able to pull. Okay, so you see how my right knee is still connected and my right toes go on the mat, because it's the toes, the ball of your foot, that pushes and slides back in, so that this knee can extend into his shoulder, and I could extend them this way here. Because what happens here is that if I tilt him this way, that will happen. Then this will happen. But what will also happen is he'll probably pull this right arm out. So then what will happen is I will get this lasso here, okay? And pull this. And I'm gonna get this lasso here. And I'm just gonna do a lasso scissor sweep. Right. If you do it all in one sequence, it becomes very, very effective. If you stop and let them set their weight, it's going to be harder for you to sweep in that way, and you'll kill your own sweep. So if he's got his hand on my knee, I'm going to pull him in, keep the hand on me. I'm going to pull this hand off. Then I go back to collar, pull him down. Okay, and I go here. Push away, left foot one, pull, and I let go of the left as we go to possibly a high mount. So, for those of you who are a little bit more advanced, I highly encourage you to go from left foot on the hip, right knee into the shoulder, and my hips need to be able to swivel, okay? I turn to my right, and I'm pulling them to the right. So if you notice, this is like a steering wheel hand, that right hand. My feet on the hips aren't pushing him away. They're just bent enough to where I have power. If he tries to drive his weight into me, I can keep him away. If he tries to pull away from me, I still can scoot my hips and I can lift my hips. I don't want to do this. Oh, it does me absolutely no good. I want to keep him in that power zone. And as I tilted him to the right, oftentimes what happens is that he begins to expose himself potentially for also omoplatas from here that he probably wouldn't want. So you have a lot of attacks from our collar to sleeve, but we're going to do the scissor lasso, we'll name later. So if that happens, pull this off, leave that collar, take the right, pull this, yes. Grab this, I'm going to lasso my left leg. He'll posture up a little bit, and I use this left hand to open up his arm so I can lasso. Okay? If I'm here, it's hard to lasso. I need to use this hand. Open it up, lasso, pull him in, block, pull, and just scissor him this way here, and you let go of the left and go to the mat. Next one. For those of you who are just beginning, what you can do is just put your feet on the hips like this, your head off the mat, hand on the collar. This hand I'm always pulling because I want to make it difficult for him to pull this right arm out. Because if I'm like this, he just pull it out. If I'm like this, he's pulling it into my left kind of leg. I tilt this way. So it's here. I have a little lasso here. Move in, block here, and sweep. All right, so you're gonna start up there and you're gonna get to the mount. All right, guys? And those of you who are just starting, just start out with feet. On the hips, this hand pulling, these knees pinching so you can move your hips, and everybody needs to be able to do this. So I can tilt and see that right there. So that's where this becomes available here. Because if I push him away, make room for that lasso, I can go for near lasso. If he pinches his right elbow and pulls back, I can go for that far lasso. Okay. If he just postures up, I can go for this spider and begin to attack triangles. This has been a very effective triangle for me, but for the collar and sleeve, here, he's pinching, just moving here, to the right, back here, and that left leg, yeah, I put to my right side, and I lock this left inner leg to his ribs. So I make him part of me. And this hand right here has to be locked to your kind of leg thigh. As I go here, pull him in, don't fall. Yeah, he'll bring that knee in. And then you can go here. And then you mount and give him a little bit of eye raise. Okay. All right, let's go. 1, 2, 3. Short.